right, welcome back to the Business of Laravel podcast, where I talk to business leaders who are working in and with Laravel. My guest today is Jack McDade, creator of Statamic and Radical Design. Jack, would you introduce yourself and tell us who are you and what's your business?
You got it. Hey, thanks for having me, Matt. My main thing is Statamic. So, as a designer and developer, I'm always working on, like side project and side ideas, but Statamic has been my main thing, and which we launched Statamic 1 back in 2012. So it's been 13 years. Been on it full time since 2017. It did not get traction right away. Part of that is because it wasn't on Laravel. So, we don't even need to talk about the pre-Laravel days.
When was the Laravel conversion?
That was with version 2. So I want to say that was like 2014, 2015.
Really? I remember it happening and I didn't realize it was so early.
It was early. Yeah. So we were on Slim PHP, initially, and the whole application was written in closures, and it was under a meg and a half. My goal was let's build a CMS that fits on a floppy disk, which is the dumbest constraint, but it was...
But sometimes you just need some kind of constraint, right? It was that constraint. Yeah. Sometimes it was that constraint, but it was also the fact that it did it even have database access originally, or was it purely flat files? Yeah.
Yeah, it was
so that's also a constraint.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. In version 2, we built it as a pre-built Laravel app. Well, it's in a package, so if you want to use Statamic, it was this is your Laravel app. Yeah. And we shipped it with the Composer stuff pre-compiled. This was kind of before we all fully embraced Composer, which is just insane to think about. And then since then, version 3, Statamic came out as a actual proper Laravel Composer package, and even that's now been 5 or 6 years. So I feel like Statamic 3 is really when Statamic really became a real grown-up thing for realsies. And from there on, it's been, the team's grown. We've been full-time. We're up to 6 full-time people, two part-timers, and a community full of tons of really great people who contribute. Just like with Laravel, there's people who contribute a lot of great stuff to Statamic, from features and bug fixes and documentation, all kind of stuff. So, yeah.
I love it.
That's my main thing.
And that one of my first questions is always in what way is Laravel connected in your business? And we definitely already talked about this, but I have to remind myself, I'm not here to nerd out with you. I'm here to talk about business with you.
Sure.
And one of the things I'm curious about is, Laravel's involved in your business because your business is selling a piece of software, or selling in, it's open source and paid, but you're making money off things that is in the Laravel ecosystem. Are you using Laravel also to run your store and stuff, or you have your own? Okay, got it. Because I didn't know if you're using something else, you're oh no, that stuff all runs on Shopify or something else like that.
It's all on WordPress. It's fine.
Yes.
Yeah.
Got it. So you've got at least one and probably more than one Laravel apps that are running your checkouts, they're running your membership stuff, some API, stuff like that. And then it's all to sell and support a package that is in Laravel.
Correct. There's not a single thing that we run that's not Laravel under the hood. It's usually Statamic on top of Laravel, but generally always at least Laravel. Yeah.
Okay. So when it didn't prompt you for this question, but I'm just super curious, as you think about the makeup of your team, are they split into product engineers who are working on Statamic and then folks who are working on internal tooling, or does everybody touch everything?
Really, everybody touches everything for the most part, except for me and Jay focus more on the design front end side now that the team's grown and we've allowed being able to not do everything. So
yes,
the rest of the guys all kind of back end Laravel, front end Vue, and then design, CSS, Tailwind. That kind of stuff tends to be our design team, which is right now is me and Jay George. So I think that answers your question, right?
Yeah, and you don't have any dedicated designers, right? They're designers, design engineers, designs who code is the highest level.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah,
okay.
I mean, that's fair to say, but. We don't have any designers that only hand off comps, right? So Jay writes CSS, I write CSS, and we both do JavaScript and stuff. So we don't have any pixel monkeys. Yeah.
Yeah. Got it.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Sure, but it's not the way you're laid out. And that's part of, what I like kind of hearing is that, everybody sets up their team differently. And so, you said you got a team of 6 full-time. Does that include you?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Do you have people managing ops, or is it just basically a bunch of developers and you, and you're running all the business aspects?
Developers and me, and I play catch-all, and yeah.
Got it.
Laravel Forge is our ops, it's DevOps anyway, and I'm BizOps and marketing
HR and everything like that,
all of it. All the other things. Me and ChatGPT.
This is not legal advice.
No, absolutely not. Do I use it as legal advice? 100% maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
So as you think about the challenges that you are doing, obviously you could kind of nerd out really deeply because one of the, if we're talking about what are the challenges you're having technically, but I think especially for you, since you are such a technical founder, I'm really curious about what are the high level technical challenges that you've had recently that are less, use this package, but are more kind of like, for example, have at some point you said, oh, maybe Vue is not the way to go, or you said in version 3, you in version 1 to 2 and 2 to 3, you made massive re-architectures based on what it made sense. What in that category of thing have you dealt with recently, if anything, or is it more like things have been kind of smooth sailing for the last year or two?
The challenges have been big, but our team is so good that they don't feel like these like rocks that you're bashing your head against. It's just like, this is a problem we tackle now. So Statamic, we're about to, by the time this episode airs, Statamic 6 should be out. If it's not out, there will be a postscript to this story where something bad happened. I mean, we're like ready to go. So Statamic 6 will be out, and from the 5 to 6 upgrade, we went from Vue 2 to Vue 3 for the control panel. We were like the last holdout. It was mostly me because I love Vue 2 so much. Every time I popped open that composition API, I'm like, what is this nightmare? Let's just use Vue 2 forever. And then, then all it takes is like someone give you the light bulb moment and you're like, oh,
I get it. Yeah.
I get it. Oh, no, this is like, this is in a lot of ways, in a lot of cases, much, much better. All right, let's do the conversion. So we did that. I mean, we've been off and on working on that. Well, the Vue 3 conversion was maybe 2 months, a month and a half, really, of like really even less. Like, it's working, right? Like, and then just fiddling through and then kind of going through a lot of the JavaScript and just making sure it's like done the Vue 3 way or like takes advantage of a lot of the new stuff and performance optimization. So that was definitely when you have a really, really, really big Vue 2 app, going to Vue 3 there's a lot of work involved in that, but we'd allowed it to also, as long as we're touching every file, let's just like have a conversation about every component. Say, does this do something it doesn't need to do anymore? Is something it need to do? And it allowed us to clean up. We deleted more code than we kept. So it was.
I love that.
Oh yeah. I mean, we just have like, those commits are just like 200 green, 30,000 red. You're like,
it feels so good.
So good. It's just that. It's taking the junk drawer that you have in your kitchen and you just like throw it all in the garbage and put one pair of scissors in it. You're like, yeah. Oh, it's good.
Yeah. And especially if you've done you've done a couple massive rewrites. When you're doing massive rewrites, you're just trying to get the thing working. But you said it's been 5 years since your last massive rewrite. And so you can get the thing optimized after that. And that's a very good feeling.
Yes.
So you guys are about to launch. Oh, no, go ahead.
Yeah. I would say the other, if we want to nerd out on like hard technical challenges, like we've
love to
done some really gnarly cool stuff on like the parsing side with like Blade and Antlers interoperability and component level kind of stuff.
What's Antlers, Jack?
So Antlers is our kind of proprietary template language because we needed one before we were running on Statamic. So we actually it started as it was called Lex, which was written by, I even forget his name now. It's been so long. Phil something?
Phil Sturgeon?
Yes, I think it was Phil Sturgeon.
Really?
Yeah. Or like, at least he was heavily involved in it. But we're talking, this is back in 2009, 10, 11.
Yeah.
So we started with that. kind of forked it, made it our own, and kept growing it. And like Blade wasn't a thing yet. And so Antlers kept growing as a regex parser until Statamic 3, when John Koster helped us rewrite it as a full AST style parser. So there's a lot of things you can do in Antlers that you can't do in Blade, or like most template languages, because once they're when you have an abstract syntax tree, you can do things out of order that doesn't parse like top to bottom. Like it parses it and then it like creates. This is a technical podcast, right? Or this is a business podcast? Anyway, we don't need to go too technical.
Yeah.
Anyway, it lets you do things out of order and like do a lot of really cool and crazy stuff. So that has been a really fun thing. And now we're building in features where like Blade and Antlers kind of leak into each other. And we don't want to get rid of Antlers. Blade is great. Blade has gotten so good, and Liveware is so good, and the tooling is excellent. But like, there's still things you can only do in Antlers that we want to keep around and have that option for people. So because like Statamic doesn't have like a controller layer by default, or you can run without controllers. So like your templates and your naming conventions are what drive URLs and what data gets injected in the view. So that your template code needs to be able to say like, go get that page or that collection or that stuff in a really clean, simple way. And that gets hairy in Blade, just like anyway.
Yeah, and Blade is not built, and this is technical, but it's technical from a ways where you make different technical decisions depending on the context. Blade is built assuming that it has data passed to it from controller, which means it's going to have what makes sense there and not have what doesn't make sense there. We built at Titan, we built a static site generator with the intention of it just being traditional Blade, and discovered very quickly you're missing the ability to pull things. We had to build our own kind of layer on top of it. And that kind of gets to an interesting topic of conversation, which is where Statamic came from. And the story I have, which is very simple, is we had the expression engine world, we had CodeIgniter, the back end, PHP libraries started proliferating, and also around a somewhat similar time period, the PHP based CMSs that are generally in the same expression engine world also started proliferating. And I don't actually know if that's the true story. Like, I definitely remember you and Craft CMS coming out at a similar time, but like, were they actually at similar times? Were you, and can you just kind of tell us, like, what's the story behind Statamic? What were you coming from? What motivated you to make it?
Yeah, the actual true story, that's very much it. There's just more detail to it. So I was working at an agency from like 2006 until 2007 or 8 until 10 or 11, 12, 13, something like that. 12, 11, a while. And we were building expression engine sites. So like that was my tool of choice back then, because I never like got WordPress. I just like hated that way of building sites. I wanted like custom fields and like templates I could pull that stuff in, and just like didn't exist back then. So building expression engine sites, expression engine not having all of the features that we needed, so started building or taking over and maintaining some expression engine add-ons. Yeah. One notable one was called Structure, who I was working on with another guy, Travis Schmeiser, who ended up working at Square for a long time as the UI designer. He's a really cool guy.
I'm sorry, you did Structure?
Yeah, I did Structure.
Sorry, everybody. I had no idea. I love Structure. I don't think we knew each other at this point. I use Structure on everything. That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's
it was cool. Like the, top 3 add-ons for expression.
Yeah, you just put it on every single install, no question.
It was like, it kind of like wasn't like worth using expression engine without it. In my opinion. Yeah.
Wow. Cool.
Yeah. Okay, so that's where I started. Yeah. And so I'm like, all right, I love this flow, but like, why? When I quit my job at the agency, and I was like, well, I'm just build expression engine sites by myself. Yeah. And then you're also the account manager and the business guy, and you're like chasing down accounts receivable and all this stuff. And then clients like, hey, I want to add a blog to my site, or I want to add a news feed. And you're like, all right, cool, I'll start working on that. But then the problem ends up being, as a one-man show, the client would be like making changes on production, right? You log into the production site like people did or still do, and change stuff. And then all the stuff I'm working on locally now like conflicts because you've got a database. And so like, please stop touching it. Or now I push the template code and I just recreate everything in the control panel, clicking, and like making it over again and copying and pasting stuff. It was like felt like half my time was redoing stuff I'd already done once because the client wouldn't stop. I'm like, this is text. Literally, we're just talking about text here. We're talking about template code. We're talking about configuration files. Why does this even have to be in a database? This is this is not a lot of content. This is not a lot of text. I want to version control it. Is it possible, because as far as at the time, like no one had done it, is it possible to make a CMS that just skips the database and just does it all in Git? And then as I started hacking on the idea, Stacy came out, which is like the first little, hobby flat file blog engine thing. I'm like, oh, someone else did it. It didn't do a lot, but like someone else has done it. Now I had some ideas to like kick around, and that's where it came from. So once it got far enough, I kind of let all the expression engine stuff go. Like it was weird to have my own CMS, but still be in one. I'm like, I have to commit. Like I either have to like let Statamic go and just commit one way or the other. And at the same, to roll back just a little bit, while I was building Statamic, Craft CMS was also being built at the same time. It was called Blocks back then by Brandon Kelly.
Yeah.
And he called me. He's like, hey man, because he'd built like all the other really popular add-ons for expression. So it was like he built everything. I built structure in between all of us. Like there was probably not one site that ran that didn't use at least one of our, if not all of our add-ons. Like, hey, I'm building a CMS. It's gonna be like expression engine, but better. Here's what I'm thinking. I heard you're working on a CMS. Do you want to build it with me? And I'm like, this is just a better expression engine, but it's like still the same exact thing. Like it's like the same exact paradigm. And I'm like, I feel like the future is going to be flat files. The future is definitely flat files. So I'm like, nah, I'm out. So we went and hired his number two, I think Brad Bell, right? And they went and they've done gangbusters. They've done great. Flat file, turns out it's hard to teach someone about a whole new product category.
Yeah.
And while there was a lot of value and people loved the flat file aspect of it, being flat file only was a problem also because it meant that site would get to a certain size or scale or certain type of site where you're like highly relational data or just like lots and lots of data, even though it's very simple. And just like the flat file thing, like the files don't really benefit us anything more. We want to optimize our queries. So like, all right, we had to go back to the drawing board, build the database layer in, and now it does both. And so we have this abstract layer that lets us, you can do anything you want for data. You can write a driver for anything you can imagine, Firebase, super like anything. And you put it on the blockchain, you shouldn't, but you could. Like maybe you should. Maybe that's where like public bills and things should be, like I don't know, version control. Anyway, that's one of those like really big challenges that evolved over time. But that is the origin story. That's how it started.
Okay. And I mean, so at the beginning, it was if you want a PHP-based CMS that, is flat file. I don't think that's your sales pitch today. I don't often ask people this, but I'm actually really curious. Like, what is the elevator pitch for Statamic today?
That's a really good question. It changes, and I usually need to gauge like what they're.
Who are you? What's the
different.
context?
Who are you? Are you in Laravel? Are you a Laravel person? It's easy. You want to drop a CMS into your Laravel app in like 2 seconds?
Yeah.
Boom, done. Like that's it. Drop it in. Composer install, done.
Yeah.
You got it. You can use a little of it as you want. You can use it with Filament. You can use it with Nova. You can use it with whatever. And just drive the content portions of your site. It's a very simple pitch. Outside of the Laravel world, it's a little different because they don't care about Laravel, which is a huge selling point for Statamic.
Yeah.
So then we have to go up against, it's a flat file CMS, which is a huge selling point for some people in some types of sites, or it's a extremely user-centered, user experience-driven CMS with a great UI, great developer experience, very, very easy to use.
Yeah.
It's like WordPress without the crap that you never touch. And so that's generally how we sell it to like the agency world outside of Statamic. And then there's enterprise, which then that's a different elevator pitch entirely. Yeah. So still kind of working on that one.
Sounds like the guy who has a million different hats to wear and things else to juggle while running a small business.
No one told me it would be hard.
Yeah. Speaking of which, great transition.
Yeah.
I imagine when you created it, you were not, and you tell me if I'm wrong, you were not setting out to say, this is going to be my full-time job. I'm going to run a business. I'm going to hire a whole bunch of people. You're like, hey, I'm like going to make a thing, right? When did it go from, hey, I'm making a thing to like, oh, this is a business. And then from there to, oh, I'm a business owner and my job is as much to run business as it is to write code.
Yeah. So since we started in 2012 again, it was, I think 2016, 2017 is when I'm like, we're a company now.
Like it or not.
It's a thing. We're companying. It's time to get businessing. That was when I got an email from Andre Basset at Der Spiegel, which is like one of the biggest news companies in Europe, in Germany specifically. And they said, hey, we love your CMS. I had never even heard of them. Hey, we love your CMS. We want to show you some of the stuff that we built into it. Maybe you want some of the features, or we just kind of want to show you some of the cool stuff that you can do with Statamic. We kind of have a feeling you didn't think you could do. I'm like, I was going to just like, that feels fake. I'm going to delete that. But real quick, let me just Google Der Spiegel. And the setback, I'm like, it's like the New York Times of Germany.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, let's take this call. And, we hopped on and they showed us like all this like workflow stuff, and they were running on a database, which we hadn't done yet. And like all this stuff, like, it was just like me and Jason at the time. And we were looking at each other like, on Slack virtually with eyeball emojis.
Yes,
but we were like, what is, okay, I guess we've made it to like a new level. And so they flew us to Germany, and we spent a week with them looking at all the stuff they built and dreaming with them. It was, we came home so fired up. We fired all our clients or let them go gracefully, and just went all in, started like, I never knew, is it time to deploy the precious little, capital reserve that I've scraped together and like say, let's use it as a runway and go for it. I just never was sure if this was the idea. And so that's when it became a real business.
Okay. I love it.
Yeah.
Back to the things I actually told you we were going to be talking about ahead of time. You have several employees, and I know that hiring your employees is not just hiring a Laravel developer, because you're probably going to hire people who actually have Statamic experience specifically. But overall, what has your experience been like in hiring employees for your developers for your team?
Yeah, I would say that everybody I've hired so far they've come and made the job that they wanted. Hey, I'd love to work for you. Dude, you're such a great developer. We're not hiring right now. Okay, that's fine.
Just want you to know.
Is there any like open source stuff I could hack on? Is there any like little things? I just love Statamic. What can I do? And so it was people like that where they were just made themselves. They just kept diving into my inbox with PR requests, and it got to the point where when it was time, like, all right, we actually can hire somebody. The obvious choice is Jesse Lee. The obvious choice is Duncan McLean. Like, just they had to be hired. There was like no other option. Yeah. And so they said they'd love, that's what they did. They made the job for themselves.
Okay. I love that.
I've got the next one or two people queued up that I know, like for sure I know who I want to hire next.
Yeah.
For sure.
That's a great position to be in, right?
Yeah.
You're not just hiring your buddies, but you are hiring people who have shown themselves to be active and involved. And also you're like, I've seen your code. I know what working with you is like. This is easy.
Yeah. It's like we're already working together, but I'm not paying you and I feel guilty about it. Like, right? When you've got like these great PRs come in and all these like, they just collaborate and like, dude, you're not getting anything from this. It's like, well, either they do this for fun or they do it on a client project because they needed it. And dude, like, it would be so great if we could just do this full time. This is part time you. Let's go full time.
Yeah,
you,
right. Let's see what that looks like. Oh, that's awesome.
So that is the opposite end of the spectrum from 1,000 resumes and you trying to figure out, do I only read the cover letters or do I like what am I doing here?
Yeah, 100%. So as you have kind of gone from being I'm a programmer to I'm a business owner, business runner, all those kind of things, what things have helped you make that transition? Are there books? Are there articles? Are there podcasts, conferences, mentors, or anything else where you're like, this was an important piece of me learning how to do the business side, not just the coding side?
Probably the most important part was a couple of really close friends that run their own businesses that we would meet up back when I lived in New York 5 years ago, that we were all local up there, and we would meet up. We call it whiskey business. So we'd have a glass of whiskey, and we would talk business. Sometimes we would watch episodes of The Prophet. You ever watch that with Marcus
I haven't
Lemonis?
seen it. No.
Okay, it's older now, but it was a great show. And he would come in and basically like acquire businesses and like turn them around.
Oh, okay.
And so we'd watch an episode and we'd pause it halfway before he would like make the acquisition offer and like take a guess at what he'd offer and why. Like we just like,
that's cool.
We don't know what we're doing, but if we can validate ourselves against an expert, like that's kind of how it started. And then like, all right, so what are you running into in your business? What are you running into your business? And we realized like, even though our businesses are different, they are the same in other ways. Funnily enough, one of the guys in that little trio was Tom Jager, who now owns Expression Engine and lives 20 houses down. So like we literally have the same business product type, and we still do it. We still talk.
That's so funny. I love that.
Yeah, that was very, very instrumental. And then just being able to tap people on the shoulder. Like I think Twitter. It's not the same as it used to be anymore, but like social media in general, right? Like then it was Twitter. You could just reach out and poke someone, be like, "Hey man, can I like pick your brain about like a weird like?" I did that with Taylor. I did that with Adam. I did that with Jeffrey. I did that with a lot of people that now are like looked at as the leaders in our space, and we were all we knew it was coming, but like we were all just kind of guys back in the day, and learned a lot from those guys too.
Okay. In terms of books and educational resources, what are you reading right now?
Ooh, right now. I'm just reading fiction right now. I can't do business books all the time. Yeah. I definitely burn out. There's a few go-tos that that are just my absolute favorite. Everything by Austin Kleon just kind of like does it for me. He's got these three little books. They come in this
got it. Yeah.
These you've probably seen these on shelves, right?
Yes, I have.
They're not necessarily about like business, but they're kind of like the what's Derek Sivers' book? Like Anything You Want, right? They're like inspirational, and they talk a lot about like how look at that. It's just like really easy to read.
Yes.
Really great ideas on how to where to get creativity, how to like get through like the grind and the slough of when you're like not getting the feedback you want, or your idea's not getting traction, how to put yourself out there. Those have been really, really good. And although I never finished it, I think I never got this far. This book I think about almost every day. The Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday. And the idea that when you hit something that feels like it's blocking your path, find a way to make that the thing. If you were at Laracon this a couple weeks ago, Adam talked about this very idea. It's like just build anything, like literally build anything you could possibly like just build something. And then when you run into a wall and you're like, I can't do the thing I want to do now, that's the thing. That's the idea. Like the wall, the fixing the obstacle becomes the business. That presents itself in so many different ways in life too. Like I've had a lot of health issues over the last couple of years, and they are proving to be the new way forward. Like this made my life so much better by figuring out what's going on and spending time and effort on taking care of myself in ways that I didn't used to. And so like my future now is thanks to this obstacle that came into my path. So I literally have no idea what the second half of the book is about, but the first half was
real good.
Definitely did something for me. Yeah.
I love that. Yeah. Okay. Other things I'm curious about your daily process. This is one I've just added. What are you doing, if anything, with AI? And regardless of how you use it in a day-to-day, is there any way where you have used it recently you're like, that was really creative, Jack. I did a good job on that one. I should tell more people about it.
That's a good question. Definitely using AI. I think it just feels like we've reached the point where it's like inevitable. Most people are probably using it for something. I find in a coding developer context, it's most useful for me and us and the team to do menial tasks that we've already established convention or patterns around. Like, hey, I've refactored this component. can you look at these 5 other components and do the same thing? And most of the time, it's like, if it's not perfect, it's so close, you're like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Very little luck getting it to do things from scratch the way I would find it to be useful. Like if like, oh, make me a new component that does such and such. And it's like, I'm literally wasting my time. Like, it doesn't help. Yep. So that kind of stuff, converting, doing menial tasks like, hey, here's a giant spreadsheet, convert this into markdown file so I can like import it into Stat. Like it can do great stuff like that. But and I'm sure it'll keep getting better, but that's like, technically that's how we use it. And then I use it a lot for research and just like ideation, but I don't let it write for me unless it's like a formal letter to Geico complaining about, a claim on my literally thing I did the other day. I had a claim that's not me. So like, write me the thing, boom, done. And they called me an hour later. I'm like, dang, that worked. Like,
love that.
Sweet. I didn't have to think about it. So
well, that is very creative, because I've certainly never used it for anything like that. So that's the idea of using it for things that actually interact with real people I'm not a big fan, but I love the idea of using it to navigate systems that we're not the experts for interacting with. And like, you can go figure out that legalese. So
exactly. Like TLDR this for me. Do that all the time.
Yeah. Okay. That's cool. Sure. Okay. Are you hiring, or do you plan to be hiring anytime in the near future?
I would love to hire in the near future, but I already know who I want to hire, and I've already talked to that person about it, and it's probably going to work out. I hope so.
Good. Love that.
So don't take this as license to think that you can squeeze in.
I don't know. I think what you just did was you told everybody exactly how to get a job with you, and it's show up and do a bunch of really excellent free work. So
that sounds so bad.
I know. I almost didn't, and I was like, no, I'm just going to do that. No, it is the one of the best. And we've had other people say this in the podcast. One of the best ways to find great people to work for you in a space is to go see the people who are doing open source work there. And most folks haven't been you, but a great place for you to find those people is to hire the people who are doing great work in your world. And it doesn't have to be people doing unpaid work. They're just not paid by you.
It's not exploited, and I didn't ask them to do it.
Yes.
I think you know what we're saying.
I just had to give you a little bit of crap there. So
I don't. It was warranted. Yeah.
So I know that you said by the time this comes out, because we're recording this in August, and I think this is coming out in late September, early October. Yeah. The latest version of Statamic is going to be out. So I do want to ask, is there anything you want to plug? And if it's plugging that, what does a plug for Statamic look like for somebody who's hearing this and has never used Statamic before? What does their next steps look like?
Oh, I mean, if you've never used Statamic before, just go to statamic.com. Like we've built a really nice site that tells you all about it. That's great. It compares it to other CMSs, and it shows you all the features. And there's a demo you can click on the button and play around with it. So let the site speak for itself. We've already talked about Statamic a lot. V6s have a lot of new features, plugs? New UI, Vue.js, all new components, all sorts of great stuff. If you're not a developer, it's going to be awesome. If you like a good control panel, it's going to be sexy tech. So there's a lot to love in V6, and it should be out by the time this happens.
If I'm not a developer and I think I need a blog and I'm going to add Statamic to my list of potential, blog or CMS type things, where do I find a good Statamic developer?
It's statamic.com/partners. We have a partner directory full of, you can sort it by country or region and freelancer and agency, so you can kind of narrow it right down and kind of have an obvious choice of who would be like at least the first person to contact and see if they're available. Really, really great people. We have a certified partner program where we do code reviews. We talk to their clients. We have one-on-one calls with them. So when we say they're certified, it's like if we needed work, we would literally hire them ourselves. That's what we're saying. So
that's very cool.
That generally means you're not going to get someone for $20 an hour. It means you're going to pay fair rates. But if that's fine, which I'm assuming if you listen to this podcast, it's probably fine. Those are going to be your best developers because
that's good.
They do code. They build.
And you're not going to call them back later to do 10x the work to fix the mistakes they made in their initial $20 an hour
work. You
can't
afford to do it right the first time. How are you going to afford to do it twice?
Yeah, no, that's good.
Yeah.
Okay. Before my final question, I want to ask you: is there anything you wish we'd covered today that we didn't get to?
I would like to plug a kind of unrelated thing.
Yeah.
It's unrelated, except for that it's also a podcast. So I'm starting a podcast.
Yeah. All right.
I record the first episode on Tuesday, so by the time this comes out, we'll probably have, I don't know, 1 or 2 episodes out, so you can go check it out. It's for this audience, but it's not about technical stuff.
Okay.
It's called Recovery Mode, and I've got a really, really great co-host, and we're going to get into literally how to take care of the bodies we've damaged by hunching over at our computers for the last 20 years.
Oh, I love this. All right, that's great.
We're going to get into all sorts of stuff. Science, what actually works, screw affiliate codes. Like, this is like just cutting to the heart of it. And I'm really excited. Like, actually went out, got a lead, like, I've got a studio office that's going to be all built out. And so we're really going for it. Yeah, it should be fun.
I'm really excited to check it out.
Yeah, so check that out. Recoverymode.fm.
Okay.
I don't make any money from it. So buy Statamic and then listen to Recovery Modes.
There you go. Love that.
Yeah.
Okay, my last question for you, which is what I exit every podcast with, is if somebody showed up with $100 million today and just said, give me Statamic, here's $100 million, what do you do tomorrow?
I would help as many people as I could. I would be sweet. I would probably leave the keyboard behind. I'd be done. Mm-hmm. And I would lean into helping people with helping people who have the sort of problems that I've had over the last couple of years with which we'll get into on my podcast, but a lot of symptoms that are around like anxiety and brain fog and dizziness and heart palpitations, all this kind of stuff. Turns out it can often come from something very physical, posture driven, and so many people don't know that the symptoms are coming from something avoidable and something you can fix. And I've been able to help a lot of people that I know in real life, just local friends and people online, and I would just lean into that and see how many more people I can help. And then spend as much time as I can with my family.
Love that.
Yeah, and give a lot of it away, because 100 million is way more than I'd ever need.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting because some people I ask and they're like, 100 million, I don't know if that would motivate me. Maybe, up from, I'm like, are you kidding? We are different people if that's your response to 100 million. But you know what? There's lots of different people in the world. So,
yeah.
All right. Well, Jack, thank you so much for hanging out. And really looking forward to your podcast. Like, I'm like, nice. Great. I can't wait to hear it. And yeah, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, man. Good to see you.
The rest of you, we will see you all next time.